Hi there, and welcome to my channel that I'm still calling Work in Progress. Yes, it is a channel kind of for spiritual seekers, we could say, for those of us that feel that we're definitely, as a human race, human species, going through an evolutionary time. So, that's the premise. And how is that working for us? How are we navigating through this? And this is where I'm hoping to find others that are going through their own challenges, difficult times, easy times, who knows, that are willing to join me in a conversation on Zoom that we can put onto this channel. So I'm looking for just everyday people like you and me, where we can just have a conversation about whatever it is that you feel is something about your own personal journey, your life's journey, that you'd like to share with the hopes of helping someone else who may be having that same challenge and could get some help from what you've been through. Or maybe you're going through a challenge, and that could be something that we could discuss. It's unlimited what conversations we could have. So it's just at this point of the very beginning where I'm really not probably being seen by very many people, although I think sometimes I've seen where I think there's 75 views on one, but I haven't gotten any comments yet, and nobody's contacted me yet to say that they'd like to have a conversation. So we're still very new at this. Just by the way, my contact information is below this video. So I'm saying this at the beginning if you're listening, but somehow you don't stay till the end, then you'll know if you'd like to have a conversation, please contact me. I will get back with you. Also, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the conversations that I'm having with myself right now. Well, not really with myself. It's with hopefully some of you out there are at least listening to the conversation. So with that idea, I'm going to ask a question. And my question today is, who are you? Now, I'm going to have to answer that question because nobody out there is going to answer it right now. There just isn't anybody out there except, my camera. So when I ask this question, who are you? What might you answer? You might answer, I could say, well, I'm Susie. Or you could say, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. Who are you? What does that really mean? Who are you? Well, I'm asking this question with the knowledge of knowing who we all are. We are spirit. We're spirits. We're higher selves that have incarnated into this body, into this third dimension of a human experience. And in that, we are then identified with a false self, really. Because what we are is spirit. But the next question is, who do you think you are? This is where we get all confused. It's complicated coming into this world. You see, I'm going to just briefly cover this part now, but we can go into much more deeper conversations we need to with this. But basically, the very simple thing, the very simple idea here is before we incarnate into a body, we actually make a plan of what we want to experience in this human during this human experience. What do we want to have happen? Some people believe that, well, we want to learn something here, so we come in for that reason. Other people believe, well, no, we just want to have an experience because, as a body, in form, and we come in to have a certain experience. Most people believe in this anyway, that we have a zillion different lifetimes, and one lifetime may actually have something to do with the next lifetime, or not. But the bottom line is we incarnate into this body, and what's interesting is we incarnate without any plan that we know of, because as soon as we come into this body as a baby, our memories erased pretty much. I mean, they do have now today, some younger children are remembering at least past lives, or they might even sometimes have a hint of what they're doing in this life. But for the most cases, we just kind of enter in here and we don't know who we are or why, because that's all erased and it needs to be done that way. So as we start to go through life, then given whatever it is, think of it like a screenwriter writes a script. We're following a certain script. So we choose our parents, and we choose the situation that we're going to be in, and we choose, ask others to participate in this story that we've gotten, that we've written, and we come in with that program going on, but we're not aware of it, right? So what's the challenge? What can really be difficult is who we think we are is the main character in the movie that we're watching. We're basically just watching a movie. It's the illusion, but it is giving us the experience that we want to have. And there's a zillion trillion different experiences that we could come in with wanting to have. So that part isn't, well, I wasn't going to say that part isn't such a big deal, but I guess it's all a big deal at the end of the day. But the part that's really important and that starts to happen here, and we could call it the game of life, is we get completely programmed through beliefs, through actual, like a computer program, to illustrate in this particular lifetime that we have, the screenplay, what we wanted to come in here to experience or to learn or whatever that was for us. And in that, then we begin to think that we're the character in this play. Who that really is you can call it ego, false self. It's just a character in the play. We're the spirit that is actually observing this experience. We're the observer of it. It's playing out right in front of us throughout our life, but we're the observer. So when I ask the question, who are you, versus who do you think you are, this is where I'm headed for this conversation in this particular video. So let's take a look and kind of break it down to ways that maybe we can begin to loosen our grasp on thinking we're that character, and thinking that we're in charge, and thinking that we have control, because these are all the things that come up as we're moving through childhood into teenage years, into young adults, into senior citizens, wherever we are at this moment in time, midlife, who knows. So as we really begin to be open-minded enough to even entertain this idea, we begin to start to see things a little bit differently. We begin to have more curiosity, for sure, of what's really going on here. But it's also a big challenge in the fact that while we're believing that we're this character, the main character in our movie, we are really attached to control. And I've been speaking about fear. Fear and control kind of go hand in hand. So when we're really attached to control, meaning we control our life, we want to control how things turn out, we want to control where we're headed in a career, we want to control our finances, we want to control other people, we want to control the entire world if we could. We want to feel in control, because if we don't, and we're this main character floundering out there in this so-called life, then that's pretty frightening. I'd say it's terrifying when you first look at it, you know? On the other hand, as you move through this process and you begin to really look at it, you begin to visualize or kind of see or ask yourself, wow, what would it be like? What would my life be like if I wasn't feeling like I had to be in control of everything? That I didn't feel like I had to do certain things that my belief system is built on. What if I was actually coming from that place, that higher self place, that spirit place, that really is just enjoying being the observer? And what literally happens as we start to move through this, and believe me, it's baby steps for most of us, really baby steps, teeny baby steps. But as we begin to move through this concept, which it is at the moment a concept, we begin to kind of realize that this need to control is very, it takes so much energy. And how many times are we discovering that we can't control something? Because we can't. But we're in the illusion that we can, right? And I have to say, if you look back on your life like I have, a lot of my life, early times, but as a young adult, middle-aged adult even, I really enjoyed my life as it was. I enjoyed the illusion. I loved my career. I loved what I was doing. I loved all the people that I was meeting, for the most part. Of course, there were challenges, etc., but for some reason, in my memory, it seemed like, ooh, that was a really good time. Now, I kind of blocked out the suffering and the difficulties and the challenges. Not completely blocked them out, but you forget how difficult, how challenging they were. But as I've been going through now, this really beginning to grasp on a very deep level, who I think I am is not who I am, and I'm not in control at all of this life. There is kind of a sense of relief, but there's also a challenge, a very, very difficult challenge. It's not coming easy. I think for most people, they call the awakening, really awakening to the truth of who we are, is not an easy ride. It really isn't. It's like it pushes our buttons for sure, because we've got all this programming and all this beliefs built into us that we now have to release, and kind of releasing to the unseen. We don't really intimately know ourselves as the higher self, or as a true self, or a spirit, whatever you want to call it. And so it's a kind of a process, major process really, of going through breaking down who we think we are, and what this whole story is about, and what this life's about, to beginning to kind of just ease in, very, very slightly ease in to the reality of what is really going on here. And when you speak or listen to on YouTube to people that have awakened, or near-death experiencers speak to this, they discover that here we suffer. We really suffer as human beings when we believe we're the character in our movie. But once an awakening happens and you recognize what's really going on, and you stop reacting in the typical ways that you have reacted to circumstances or situations, and you have a whole shift in your being, then life becomes an amazing experience. It actually shifts and changes what's happening out there to some degree, because you're not reacting in the old way when you thought you were this character. So why I'm talking about this today is because I think that so many of us are now going through the intensity of trying to make this shift. And it is intense. I know for me, it's not an easy ride. It's like I'm being challenged every day to look deeper within myself, because it's all within, right? Nothing's really out there. We just are experiencing it as if it is. But the truth is the change and the shift and the joy and the contentment has to come from within. But it's not like we just switch a switch, like switch a light on. It's not like that. We have to go through peeling the onion, and it's a pretty big onion, and we have to keep peeling and peeling, and then as we peel, we go through challenges and difficulties and really trying to grasp and come to terms with who we think we are versus who we really are. I don't know exactly who I'm speaking to right, of course, at the beginning here. So there's going to be different levels of how, we can only get things at the level that we're at. I can only speak to things at the level that I'm at. But this is where I think conversations could be really helpful as we begin to really move up the ladder, so to speak. Because with this evolution that is clearly going on right now of the human species, it is intense, and it is requiring more and more of us wake up. It is requiring that we wake up and remember why we came here at this time. For those of us that are on this planet, at this time, we came with the purpose of helping with this evolution, to contribute in a positive way, because it's no joke. It is definitely a time like no other. For sure no other of those of us that are still right here now doing our life on this planet. It doesn't matter what we believe exactly. What's really happening is what's really happening. And the beliefs can get in the way, or maybe they can help. Who knows? I mean, we could even say, well, who's to say this is an evolution? That's just a belief. Well, maybe it is, but it's what appears to be actually happening. It's what appears to be actually happening. So, we can take this conversation 1,000 different places, but I think the key is right now is the question, who do we think we are? And the other questions could be, are we in contentment? Are we actually in the flow of life, meaning we're living life from the higher self, from spirit? In other words, life is just happening through us. It's just moving through this body. This body is like a vehicle, right? It's the vehicle to allow the experience to move through us, this experience of being human, of inform, having the senses. When it's coming from the place of spirit, of higher self, and when we're connecting with our guides on that level, then it's just life flowing through us in a most amazing way. It's a whole different experience. And I think most of us have had those glimpses, those times of that kind of experience. I know I have. Now they come and they go. I'm not solid in that at this time. I don't know if I'll ever be. But I do know enough that the difference between me playing out who I think I am, the character, versus really opening up and just allowing life to flow through me, man, the difference is just, well, it's not even speakable. I don't even know words to give it. So I'm hoping that this is maybe going to help someone always. That's what I hope for. But I'm also hoping that this starts to open up some thinking. I'm not a teacher. That's not what I'm trying to do by any means. But I'm a talker, and I think, a putting together of people and ideas. And I really think that I want to contribute to this idea. So I'm looking for, like-minded people, we could say. Not that you have to buy into everything or anything that I'm saying, not at all. But that are open to have this kind of conversation. So I'm just touching, I'm trying to kind of just touch on these different subjects. I know for me right now, what happens is I think I speak a lot about where I'm at the moment. And where I'm at the moment is really taking a hard look and a difficult look at how I, how I do life. How the times that I really want to have control, or versus the times when I really look within, knowing it's not about you out there, it's all about what's going on inside of here. When I can really look at the programs and beliefs that no longer serve me and begin to work on releasing those. This is all a part of this evolving. It is evolving because it's letting go of thinking that we're that character. This is big. I really think it is. And I think that as this isn't just now gurus are getting this, or monks sitting in the cave are getting this, or certain teachers have gotten this and their followers are trying. I think this has become now a very individual situation for each of us. It's not following a guru necessarily. It's not being a part of some organization necessarily. I think is that we're each responsible, individually responsible for our own journey. And that's why I like to call this, it's a life journey, and we have all these stories in our life's journey. But now is the time to kind of to realize that this life journey isn't really who we are. It's us observing from a spirit, as higher self, observing this experience. And really being willing to go through these challenges, moving through this, moving into a place of contentment and peace. That's what's going to help the next person and the next person. But it's not easy. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, piece of cake, no problem. Nope. I'm even having trouble talking about it, quite honestly. I feel like today I wasn't real clear. So I'll speak about it again, I'm sure, when I feel maybe I have a better way to express what's going on. The one thing I can leave you with, is this is what's continually been for me and for other people that I know are kind of on the same path, is the going within, really looking deeply. It's called self-inquiry in some places, inquiring about what's really going on with me. What is triggering something in me? A trigger of fear can be triggered, or a particular belief can be triggered. Now, the only way it can be triggered is if that the external world has something going on that I'm observing, and I get triggered into, let's say, fear from something out there. The only way I can get triggered is that it's already in here. It's already there. So it's not like anything from the outside can trigger me into anything. Just can't happen. No person, no thing, no circumstance, no situation, no nothing. It all has to be first within me, a program, a belief. That's it, programs and beliefs. They go all over the place. And if something happens in my external world, then that'll trigger, right? That'll trigger something in me. So during the pandemic, all of the fear that was being discussed, all of the suffering that was going to happen if you initially came down with with COVID, all of the conversations about hospitals can not even take any more people, yada yada. Well, that triggered some sort of deep fear in me. I don't exactly know where it came from, but something about not being safe. something about, oh my God, I'm not in control. Listen to what's happening. There's nothing I can do. There's nowhere to go. I mean, this is global. It's not like I can leave this country and get away from this. So I think it just triggered a deep down unsafe feeling, and also triggered lack of control. Oh my God, I'm not in control. And so I went through a deep dive, let me tell you, a real deep dive through the pandemic, and I'm still working through some of that. No doubt, still working through some of that. But it did open me up. So it opened me up in many ways. One, I had the time because we weren't going anywhere, wasn't seeing anybody, so it definitely opened up the space for me. And that's all that was on my mind, by the way. And so it opened up that space for me to really look within. I had to stop watching the news. I had to, no media, because I was being taken into la la land with all the conversations that were going on. So I at some point stopped. And then I just sat with my fear. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me how to do this. I mean, we don't need to go through a training to learn how to be with our within. We just need to practice. That's all it is. And to be sincere in that practice. So, I think I don't want to keep repeating the same thing, which I think can happen when I'm trying to explain something that I'm not really clear. I don't really have the clarity I'd like to have. But maybe I have to try to explain it in 100 different ways, because everybody's has 100 different ways they're going to hear it. So I think that would be enough said in the moment about this. Encourage you to look within, particularly if you're suffering with a particular situation right now. I think I mentioned the other day, the layoffs are happening all over the country, and I would say that can bring up a tremendous amount of fear, and I would encourage you to start to look within, even though I'm sure you have a dialogue, like, why not, going on in your mind about, oh my God, how am I going to make this work? But if you can look, just kind of go within, just breathe and stay within, write it out, journal it, automatic writing, do those types of things. I am promising you amazing things come out of that. Amazing. When I do my automatic writing, I am constantly, totally shocked and surprised by what I'm writing, because I'm writing from my higher self. So if I have a particular what I consider a serious problem or a serious issue, it's being looked at from such a different place that by the time I get done with that writing, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, wow, okay, I think I got this. So let me encourage you to just try those things. If you want to find out about automatic writing, there's plenty of stuff online, or just write. Just write, but with the intention, open up to your guides. We all have guides, whether we are aware of them or not. You got them. They're there. And believe me, our guides are showing up now in full force. So just, you can talk to them in your mind, or talk to them, say, I need help, in a voice, or put it in like a prayer if that works for you, whatever it is. Say it. Say, I need help. I'm lost right now. Can you help me? And start writing, and I promise you, it is stunning what can come out of that. I think I wouldn't have made it through where I am now without my automatic writing. I really wouldn't. And I'd never been much of a journal person. I've never even been a person that really writes. But you know what? When you start to suffer enough, you open up to all kinds of ways, if we want to call it that, or that can help you find your way back home, so to speak. Find your way to peace, Find your way to a place of being, which is not full of anxiety and fear and panic and all those things, but it's rather it's content, Yeah, so I think that's about it. Before we leave, I do want to remind you that please subscribe to my channel. Please hit like if you like this video. And definitely leave a comment. I would really love to hear some comments. And again, my contact information is below this video, so please contact me with whatever, an idea you have, if you'd like to have a conversation, if you want to give me some part of what you understand or believe, whatever. It's right there, easy to connect with me, and I can promise you I'm going to get back with you as quickly as possible. So, hope to hear from some of you soon. In the meantime, take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of what your needs are. Open up to that as well. Make sure you are looking at what it is you do need. Hopefully take some of these ideas and put them into practice, or try out the going within and see how that goes for you. But other than that, then we'll see you next time. And I'm going to hit my little clicker thing. We'll see how many clicks it takes to turn this off.